Yeah, it was a great show. Hello, everybody, as I welcome you to really what has been a throwback in a way. And we kicked it off and went Broadway this week, but also look into the start of year 2 of AEW Dynamite. Welcome once again, folks, to another fun, wild, sure to be exhilaratingly fun session of AEWSPARK Re-Ignited, as we look so far at the start to year 2 and the road to full gear. And of course, I am recording this before Halloween, the week of all spookiness, horrors galore, and who knows what surprises await us. And this is just a fun background. I am no member of the Addams family, but I figured I'd take it old school and kind of join in the spooktacular fun. Plus, I did look at a recent episode of the Addams family in black and white. So take this as you will. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started because we have 2 weeks to break away. And in case you're wondering, she has no legs. So we kicked off, of course, this year with Championship Showcase. Wondering if we were going to usher in an era for change. Let me fix my camera for y'all because I see it does keep fading out the black and white. Sorry, you won't see her, but that's okay. Anyway, as we kicked off year 2 with an AEW Championship Showcase, as all the titles were on the line, kicked off strong with the tag team top out as the Best Friends and FTR. They duked it out, of course, being the #1 contenders. In the end, the Best Friends did fall again, short of seizing the gold. But it wasn't without a little bit of setup for what's to come next, and honestly, a weird angle. Of all things to take into work, why would you take a prized video game cabinet with you? You think you're safe on the audience? You're not, especially ringside. Have you not seen AEW lately? As at one point, Trent literally finds himself speared into Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, mostly Kip's arcade machine. That infuriated him so bad, he had Penelope Ford go get him. Go get him. I don't think it'd take a rocket scientist to figure out what him they were referring to. Anyway, as this continued, and of course, FTR won in the very end, taking advantage of a very prone Trent after isolating him. The Best Friends, of course, get a standing ovation. They're still in the ring, gearing themselves up until Miro makes his presence known and tries to break the Best Friends, as he now calls them the Good Friends. Subtly sums up like this: you break my shit, I break your body or your face. As, of course, upon that immediately, we find Kip and Miro, mostly Miro, squashing Shamaluda, mostly Shamaluda, and Lee Johnson in attack bout and basically confirming for all that go wrong against him and Kip, game over, which, of course, the name of his submission finisher, that, of course, he won with. I thought this was a really great way to kick off year 2 when it comes down to what AEW Dynamite truly stands for in the very beginning, and that is bringing a main event focus to tag team wrestling, though it doesn't always have to be the main event, but it definitely was a match I certainly will remember. Anyway, as we move on from there, we go into, of course, continual action. And again, I'm not doing this in any particular order, folks. I'm just going off the top of my head because AEWSPARK necessarily isn't about reviewing it, but play by play, but more so celebrating it and really just thinking about everything we could take away from it. And again, as year 2 kicked off, all the titles were on the line. And overall, I thought it was a really good show. As we move into, I believe it was our next match. What was it? Oh, yeah, that's right. We move on into the TNT Championship match as Orange Cassidy and Cody pleasantly surprised me in what sort of wrestling bout they can bring. And in the end, Cody did prevail, but it was by time limit draws with 1 second extra via the mousetrap. We very much would have had Orange Cassidy probably as our new TNT champion, but it wasn't to be. I also respect the fact how the Dark Order and the Nightmare Family did not come into play in this match at all. Literally, it was more so about seeing who could really be the better wrestler, who represents this title or this company better. Orange Cassidy with a tremendous run of momentum recently after coming off La Tropion and that Most of Mayhem and challenging for the TNT title a couple weeks ago prior to the 2-year anniversary. And Cody, who's never been in the ring with Orange Cassidy and really was trying to wrestle his type match, didn't get it for a while. It really rallied him. At times, he felt a little cocky, a little bit over-focused, I feel like, overconfident. It cost him a couple of spots, and it nearly cost him this match. Orange Cassidy, again, when he tries, he surprises us all and really brought it in this fight, which really broke down to a fight towards the very end. Counter for counter chain wrestling, and in the end, Cody was able to maintain a grip by 1 second of the TNT Championship. But you got to imagine that Dark Order and Nightmare Family is still far from over us. They wanted to put their presence known. But I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. And I'll talk more about that when I cover this week. Before that match, though, allow me to also cover that MJF now, his big announcement was calling out Chris Jericho, talking about how he's the best, talking about how he and him are the two leading stars of AEW, All Elite Wrestling. He basically says, begrudgingly, couldn't get it out. I want to, I want to, and he also gave Sammy a jacket 2 times the size is bigger. He wants to join the Inner Circle. So basically, after Chris Jericho confirmed that one, he hates the Animal Planet channel, would not be a fan of my mother. Basically, they go banter about, you want to be in the circle? Do you want me in the circle? Blah, 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 blah. They decide to sell this one-on-one in a steak dinner. What? Yeah, I thought that was weird too. And MJF simply says, you're on. So that's what we got this week. Now, talking about what was the most memorable moment of the opening of year 2, let's go to Dr. Britt Baker giving us another rule about being a role model, as her and Tony Schiavone were in a spa of all places. And literally, we find the two getting, massage, relax, and Tony Schiavone gets his chest waxed, which throws everything out of place. But the number one thing to take away from this segment, besides the fact Tony Schiavone's chest is now smoother than a baby's bottom, is the number 5 rule, to quote the legendary Jim Ross, be the baddest bitch on the block. And she proves that with her return that we'll talk about this week. As Marvez then continues to try and interview Lance Archer, but of course, Lance Archer and Jon Moxley, they can't be torn apart from each other. They literally tear each other apart backstage multiple times. It caused the main event to be a no disqualification match. So what could possibly go wrong here? Matt Hardy, of course, is interviewed with his family, by the way, at ringside, but apparently we learned who the attacker was. It is Sammy Guevara. Surprise, surprise, not really. The way they went about figuring out the next challenge is challenge FTR for the titles, I thought was a little bizarre and kind of goes off the rails when you think about the ranking system, and it almost seemed like a who's who, and then a most obvious pick, unfortunately. But it was Private Party, Silver Males, the Dark Order, Butcher and the Blade, and the Young Bucks apparently were all picked for this match. Young Bucks, of course, they kick off a super kick party. They definitely seem like the ones to think about. Also, we had Hikaru Shida defend her title against Big Swole. No one's on her level, but I'm glad her and Big Swole got about 10 minutes here. And in the end, I thought that her and Big Swole had a really good match. There needs to be a stronger focus on the AEW women's division this year, in my opinion. And that's all I have to say about that. Great back and forth chain wrestling and an aggressive affair towards the end. Made Big Swole look strong when she kicked out of the Falcon Arrow, but of course she fell to that running knee strike, not only to the front of the head, but the back. Shida continues her momentum. There's no doubt that Nyla Rose, Big Guerrero, they are waiting in the rings, but personally, I hope for something different. Then we talk about Sean Spears and his program developing with Scorpio Sky, which really picked up this week on AEWDark. As I come to you now, literally Wednesday night, 11:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 21st. Eddie Kingston, he joins us at the commentary booth for our main event as Lance Archer and Jon Moxley renew hostilities dating all the way back to Wrestle Kingdom, and a couple of spots were shown here too as they duked it out for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Everything was used here. Lance Archer looked like he was unstoppable, taking chair shots and trash cans, and also coming in with a brand new theme apparently, and throwing a guy through plate glass. Ouch. As this match went down the line, we got a similar spot back at Wrestle Kingdom where literally he was paradigm shift off the apron through 2 tables. It was not enough to cause the man to stop, as Moxley was able to overcome the Murder Hawk monster again and literally just rolls up Archer for the win after Archer DDTs Moxley and then uses blackout, or attempts to. It's simple. It's interesting how this match didn't come down so much to a finisher, but more so the fact you survive each other's finishers or counter each other's finishers, as Moxley did use the paradigm shift, but Archer kicked out. And he didn't put Archer to sleep, unlike Eddie Kingston. And apparently that's our leading story going into this week, as we went off the air celebrating the introduction of year 2 of AEW Dynamite, talking about the start of this tournament, talking about figuring out a number of contenders to full gear. And literally, Eddie Kingston comes out of the ring, talks about how he loves him, so proud of you. And then he literally just destroys him while his family holds back all referees and officials, says he never quit, never gonna back down, never gonna be finished with you. I owe you. You owe me everything. You betrayed me. And spinning back fist, followed by choking him out. And then we learned more about what Eddie Kingston said as they went off the air. So let's go ahead and talk about this week, because there was a lot to unwrap, as the focus this week was the opening rounds of the AEW Single Elimination Tournament to crown the new #1 contender to the AEW World Championship. But before that, allow me to shed some light, of course, on Dark. That's what I always choose to do on AEWSPARK. Big developments as we look towards Avalon and Cutler. Next week, number 3. And they made it seem like a big deal on BTE. How down to earth does Tony Khan seem, by the way? As literally we have an impromptu, like, big match, like, I guess you could say, press meeting on BTE to set up this match that will be made official and done what's for on Dark. Leva, good luck with the result and maintaining control. He said there must be a winner. We're going to see what happens, as these two have done everything that Dynamite has been unable to do so far, it seems. Double DQ, double countout. Anyway, also along with that, we look more so at the Dark Order. They don't mess with Dean Malenko. But we also look forward to Dark, where we see the Dark Order really owning Dark lately, as well as Eddie Kingston's family. Great previews going into this championship tournament too, as both Rey Fenix and Pentagon were successful in their matches respectively. But the bigger story I feel coming out on Dark, besides the great action and the heart of Kazarian really trying to push beyond what he is now and try to be that next top guy in AEW. Wardlow, of course, destroying a guy in less than 15 seconds with what I like to call the warhead, that KO knee strike to the side of the head. And of course, Butcher and Blade, one of my favorites, proving their dominance. All of Eddie Kingston's family proving dominance. But Eddie Kingston with the ultimate blow to QT Marshall. And I quote, hoodwink, never trust a bunny. The bunny is back with Butcher and Blade, and I could not be happier. And tough luck for QT as he fell to Pentagon via that distraction. I'm sure he's heartbroken. This tells me we're developing a feud between the Natural Nightmares and Kingston's family down the line. But other things to consider is everybody in Dark Order was successful as well that night. And it still seems like Dark Order is trying to find that spot where they are the most dangerous, powerful force to be reckoned with on an AEW roster. As it seems like since Mr. Broly lost that title, now we're starting to question, where's Mr. Broly? How is his leadership helping the Dark Order? Does there need to be some changes made to the Dark Order? Just saying. Anyway, I just wanted to shed some light on Dark as we continue as well with this whole thing about Scorpio Sky and Shawn Spears. That match is just waiting to happen. And of course, TH2, I always enjoy the performances. I hope Kazarian does reach that next echelon. Need more women's wrestling. Kind of keep more opportunities. Plus, she had a pretty good match with Chain Wrestling against Brandy. Kenzie pretty surprised me with how much she has improved. Definitely has a lot of speed to her now. I thought she did okay with the World Women's Tag Cup champions, Ivelisse and Diamante. Surprised both of them aren't signed, but apparently Ivelisse is. And those are just some simple thoughts I have on AEW Dark. Now let's go ahead and talk about this week's AEW Dynamite, as it kicked off our tournament, and literally that was the focus of the show. And also, of course, we look at Dr. Britt Baker, who was in action, and we get a lot of build going into Full Gear. Let's go ahead and talk about what we saw. So, our show kicked off, of course, with our first match of the tournament, and it was Jungle Boy versus Wardlow. Jungle Boy showed a lot of resilience here, but in the end, Wardlow's strength. I must say this tournament is a huge opportunity for us to see what Wardlow is truly capable of, as Wardlow's strength was just too much for Jungle Boy to overcome, even with the attempted fast-paced momentum he had, attacking Wardlow from behind, pulling off a counter Rana out of nowhere, I might add. But in the end, Wardlow F10'd him in the next week, and then the week after that, because following 2 F10s, even though he couldn't get the Warhead knee strike pulled off here, Wardlow proved his dominance and continues forward in this tournament. A very fun opener. Jungle Boy showing very much promise, but I guess he's just not yet at that point where you think he can lead this company as champion. But again, he doesn't need to lead as champion because Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and even Marco Stunt, Jurassic Express, they are still incredibly over. But I'm curious to see what's next for this trio and duo now, or even Jungle Boy in singles action. I feel like this tournament is a huge opportunity to show us what a lot of people that you think could be big-time single stars can really bring, and if they're ready for that spot. And with this win, and honestly one of the longer matches in Wardlow's run so far in AEW, I say Wardlow is definitely reaching that point. It's nice to see him so far. He and MJF kind of like going their own ways, it seems, with different plans and agendas. Because of course we have a steak dinner, le dijon, or some word, like some fancy word that probably don't even mean that thing. I'm pretty sure lexicon would still use wrong. But again, I'm just talking out loud. We got more so teasing about Miro and Kip being mad about bringing a Mortal Kombat 3 vintage arcade machine. I think it was a cheap pawn shop, probably knockoff, as it looks like we're going to get the Best Friends, who had only did it on accident, by the way, while Proud and Powerful made it personal. Looks like Best Friends is going to be facing Miro and Kip. We'll see how that spoils maybe wedding plans going forward when that match is made official, and how outside interferences like Orange Cassidy and Penelope Ford could play in this too. Speaking of Orange Cassidy, we had a subtle interview segment with him as we look towards the TNT Championship match next week. And basically, he's like, doing it in Cincinnati. No, we're going to do it here. Orange Cassidy, a man of few words. He ends his promo with whatever. Seriously, the guy says and does so much with so little. How the hell does he do it? I don't know how. I don't want to know how, I think. But it still just surprises me with how much he's able to do it. All right. Anyway, as we continue to talk about what's ahead for the rest of the show, yeah, I realize my internet might be a little bad. Sorry, folks. It's just the way it is. We continue our action in this tournament, and literally we get the most wildest, longest of intros ever that I can recently remember for one Kenny Omega. But not before. Good Lord. You're talking about make a championship match, a rivalry feel really personal. AEW sure knows how to tell a story. Eddie Kingston with some real talk, real thought, real emotion. We learn more about what he said last week in regards to Jon Moxley betraying him, leaving him high and dry, where he kept fighting from underneath to just survive in this sport of professional wrestling, while he went off to be an entertainer and go thrive in the land of Titans. And basically that previously continued from here, where Kingston basically says that he's been holding out for everything, and he's literally going to hold everything Jon Moxley has done in that life against him, thinking that he left him high and dry, left his boy up in the streets. But he never quit in life. He never quit in that match, and he damn sure is not going to quit at Full Gear, because now it's official. Jon Moxley will once again defend the AEW Heavyweight Championship against Eddie Kingston, this time in the first ever AEW I Quit match. With both these men mentalities, one thinking they're unkillable, the other one saying that he's unstoppable because his will never be broken. He will never quit. One of these men's wills is going to have to be broken to finally end this feud once and for all. And I loved Eddie Kingston's passion in his promo, how he just truly loves. He will die, he says, for this art, this sport of professional wrestling. And it almost seems like he is jealous in a way of what Moxley has done, but also I feel like he envies him in what Moxley hasn't done based on what he's done. But anyway, this match, there will be no tapping, there will be no controversy, and there will be no excuses. One man will be forced to say, I quit, and that will be the true winner in this rivalry. And it all comes ahead less than a month, I might add, at AEW Full Gear. But damn, Eddie Kingston, best promo right now in AEW. I felt that promo, man. That was some deep, hard shit. Real talk, real powerful stuff. Good Lord. Anyway, as Justin Roberts reads the longest resume I can remember for a wrestler, we go into our next match, which originally was supposed to be Joey Janela, but due to the fact he did come in contact with someone that was COVID positive, apparently, he decided in the name of safety and wellness for himself and his co-workers, he will not be involved in AEW Dynamite this week. Thus, he forfeited his spot in the tournament. I know, she's disappointed. But we got Sonny Kiss, and this was another unique first to come. And literally, this match was not what I expected to be for a first, as we get the wildest of entrants, subtly teasing someone's coming to clean up the cleaner, Kenny Omega, original theme still. I hear the battle cry. He comes in, he respects Sonny Kiss, he just seems all calm and casual. His hair is darker too. And apparently also he has one of the strongest, if not the strongest, number of wins in AEW, over 30 wins. He made it 31 wins in less than a minute. Literally, bell rings, bang, V-trigger, one-wing angel, and it's over. Sonny Kiss eliminated like that. Kenny Omega moves forward. I must say, I was not expecting this sort of angle, and it really surprised me because by the time I was literally typing my tweet, the match was already over. And just when you think you've seen it all in AEW, you've seen the quickest squash match probably since Red Velvet versus Hikaru Shida. And that's saying something. But talk about a quick and easy, clean win for Kenny Omega. Folks, I think it's safe to say the cleaner is coming. Let me repeat that. The cleaner is coming. as he just subtly walks away, but he respects the Omega like, this guy endorses him for, you know, the effort. And we move on from there as he moves forward. Then we go really into a battle of family. And by the way, Eddie Kingston, mad respect to him. Definitely seems like he is definitely not in this for himself. He puts over his family because he knows his boys, Butcher and Blade, and the Lucha Brothers are on action tonight. But Lucha Brothers, they're really going to test the boundaries and the bonds of their brotherhood. Lucha Underground revisited, Indies revisited, and hopefully Aubrey doesn't get kicked in the head this time like he did on the Indies by Ray Phoenix. Ouch. As Pentagon is zero, or wait, did I screw that up? Yeah, I screwed that up. Botch. Penta LM. The way they change these names, it's so damn confusing, folks. I'm sorry. We literally go to Pentagon versus Ray Phoenix in the opening round of this tournament. Only one could advance. However, if it does go to a 20-minute draw, which all these matches did have, then both men are eliminated in this tournament. And then we also look at, before this match, how Jon Moxley, he subtly says he respects Eddie Kingston for everything he's done. He should respect him for everything he did because he doesn't feel sorry for what he did to give his family a better life, to find himself a happy wife, to do everything he needed to do to thrive and survive his own way through the industry. And now both men talking about they got to go to a very dark, secluded place in the recesses of their mind and in professional wrestling to really see who the true champion should be. I cannot wait to see how this match at Full Gear unfolds. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm sure we're going to get a contract signing or a face-to-face verbal competition between Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley sooner than later. Just saying. But anyway, Lucha Brothers, they kick off action here, and they did not skip a beat. Literally, the spots that these two have traded with each other and chose to trade with one another, including but not limited to the crazy chops rending both men's chests, finding each other on the outside of the ring, countering each other move for move, classic stalemate type wrestling, kicks and aerial offense galore, including stopping one of Ray Phoenix's trademark moves, the walk across the ropes into the kick. Pentagon stopped him on that. Both these men on the outside of the ring, both these men during picture-in-picture literally knock each other out in a kickoff. At one point, Penta literally whacks his hand in that steel ring post, and we come back from break and literally hear the sound of that dink. I'm like, ouch, damn, that's real, that hurt, that was hard. And literally, as this match continued, I'm just wondering, how the hell is this not the main event? Pentagon getting the better of his brother at one point for a nice near fall, but it wasn't quite enough to win this match, as literally, good eye by the ref, by the way, knowing that one of the competitors' feet was under the ropes. He did kick out, and it looks like right now Ray Phoenix is firing from under. Pentagon is reluctant to try and finish off his brother. Eddie Kingston putting over both these men in what we already know both are capable of. For anybody that is familiar with the Lucha Brothers in some capacity, if nothing else, you had at least seen them in Lucha Underground, I would think, or you remember All In. Anyway, as this match continues and we look at a vulnerable spot for Ray Phoenix, bam! Super kick out of nowhere, drops Pentagon where he stands. And we find these two reluctantly on the top rope in the corner. Oh, jeez. And literally, Spanish fly from the top. And I thought we literally got a win here. And as this match continued, I don't even know what the hell you call this out of nowhere. But Pentagon with, let me see if I can get this right. Ray Phoenix coming in for the kill. He counters it. He rotates literally 360 in the air. Pop up full round to a sit out power bomb. Still not enough to defeat his brother. Ray Phoenix kicks out. Penta's getting annoyed. Penta goes for his trademark, as you all know. Cielo Miero. He literally goes to take apart and take off the arm of his brother. And literally does it. I'm pretty sure I heard a damn pop. And as Pentagon reluctantly goes for the kill, goes for the win, he gets countered as Ray Phoenix pulls out of nowhere an insane destroyer and pins his brother. Ray Phoenix, 1, 2, 3, gets the win. We are getting Ray Phoenix versus Kenny Omega next week. Holy hell, what a freaking match. Already one of my key candidates for year 2. And we just started the new year of Dynamite. And I knew this match was going to deliver on all fronts because I know what these two can do with each other, let alone against each other. An absolutely incredible affair. As we move on from there, we could now continue the tournament and we look at, I think, the Dark Order, definitely wondering, where do we stand as a whole? are there weak links? Is Mr. Broadway going to perform maybe some performance evaluations and maybe, I don't know, give some people a pink slip? Or would it be a purple slip? Anyway, it's Colt Cabana, of course, supported by Evil Uno, taking on Cowboy Shit himself, Heyman Adam Page. And to both these men's credits, I thought they had a both really strong, respectable bout. Colt Cabana resisting the ways of the Dark Order, really trying to find his own, calls the Dark Order his friends. Clearly, Alex Reynolds and John Silver do not believe in him. But they do endorse him and support him because, again, he's fine to have Dark Order, has a chance to become the AEW World Champion. Is it my opinion that John Silver is the best thing in the Dark Order right now overall since day one? Because literally the guy, his energy, his hype, his promotion of the Dark Order and himself, it's absolutely amazing. As we did learn, all of the Dark Order will be out of the ring legally next week on AEW Dynamite during the TNT Championship match. That Mr. Broly clearly, I feel, has aspirations to get back, as John Silver puts it. I think John Silver wants that title more than Mr. Broly. That's a match that needs to happen, in my opinion. John Silver versus Cody for the TNT title. But next week, it will be a lumberjack match now between Orange Cassidy and Cody for the TNT title. So anything could happen. There must be a winner, apparently. But with lumberjacks, we know how these matches go. They break down. I expect all hell, war, and chaos to break loose. Would not surprise me if he had some outside interference from ringside involved in this war too, men and women wise. But I digress. Anyway, back to the Colt Cabana Heyman and Page match. Colt Cabana showing some strong offense, causing Page to hit some nasty, nasty landings on the apron. I know it's not the first time that Page has done this to himself, but good God, man, protect your spine. He literally falls off the top rope to the apron, spine first to the floor, then Colt Cabana with a running off the apron splash to the ribs and midsection of Heyman Page, gets him a close near fall as he tries to go for the Chicago skyline, of course, flying apple, all the traditional moves you expect out of Colt Cabana. And as this match progresses, literally we find Evil Uno worried, anxious, hoping that the guy he supports in Colt Cabana actually gets the win. And he does come pretty close, but not close enough. After multiple attempts of the buckshot lariat, and even knowing that it was coming, Colt Cabana, you ducked it once, but he didn't trigger it. He triggered it that time, and buckshot lariat to Evil Uno's chagrin. Heyman and Page advances in the AEW World Championship and Contenders tournament, as he will now face Wardlow next week, which I think will be a very interesting match, considering I don't believe Wardlow and Heyman and Page have actually crossed paths before. So this is going to be a very unique first. Two firsts almost in AEW, it seems. Though Rey Fenix and Kenny Omega have faced each other before, and in case people forgot, Kenny Omega is the AAA Mega Champion. I wonder if that title is going to come back into play somehow in this match coming up. What also surprises me, though, is literally, I thought the Dark Order were going to just assault Colt Cabana and kick him out of Dark Order. They didn't. They picked him up and they dragged him to the back. I got to imagine that Colt Cabana is going to be at the mercy now of Mr. Brody Lee's verbal retaliation versus his physical. Probably going to be like a vote of confidence. And then I really wonder, Anna Jay, Stu Grayson, Evil, where's everybody's place in the Dark Order? There's a lot of unknowns right now, moving pieces, I feel like, in the Dark Order. And there might be some changes and releases coming, I feel like, too. I feel like Evil Uno is on very, very, very hot water. Yeah, he throws the favorites, which really tells him to, but he's always yelled at, too, by him as well, in a different way versus John Silver. And right now, it seems like John Silver has more momentum. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see. As we also continue about this rivalry, there's a lot of rivalries that are still going from year one into year two, and I wonder if they're all going to come ahead at Full Gear. As we once again find Sammy Guevara saying he is obsessed with Matt. This will not end until I end you. Well, it might finally end at Full Gear in the Elite Deletion, as we will have, once again, Sammy Guevara taking on, sorry, Rebly, Matt Hardy. Oh, jeez. And I can only imagine what this creative outlook of a match is going to bring. And hopefully it will be the end of this feud. Sammy's got to move on to something else. Speaking of moving on, it's my opinion that Team Taz needs to move on from Will Hobbs. Quit trying to recruit him. He's not going to your side. And also this whole thing with Ricky Starks and Darby Allin. I wonder how much longer this is going to go. With Darby Allin, of course, already having a match at Full Gear for the TNT title, no matter who the champion is. Ricky Starks obviously upset. Taz talking on his behalf. Ricky Starks saying he's going to kick the paint off that hat-faced bitch. So we'll have to wait and see how this feud picks up. And it feels like that Brian Cage, I don't know if he wants Will Hobbs or if Taz is going to unleash Brian Cage on Will Hobbs. He doesn't give him an answer because Taz is one that really does not like hearing no. So I'm curious where it's going to go for all four of these men. But as far as Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin, I can see that down the line after Full Gear. I don't think we need to see it beforehand. That's just my opinion. But hey, Ricky Starks, he's very, very fired up. So I will give the man all the credit in the world. He definitely seems confident and happy. Okay, so now we move on to the steak dinner. And I know steak dinners are pricey. I know they are unique, high-class occasions. This was by far the most unique angle I have seen in professional wrestling. And I'm going to put it to you like this. They both challenge each other as far as how they want their steak and dinner. Probably Drummond Velma with a V, no relation to Caleb with a K, as she continues to jot down what they want, scribble out the previous order, jot down what they want, and then they go away. And then MJF and Jericho wonder why are they there, and then we learn there's going to be a town hall meeting regarding who's going to join the inner circle. But then they really come together in song. Yes, you heard me right. For the first time ever, AEW Dynamite, Chris Jericho brings you Steak Dinner, the musical. And they both talk about how great they are, the top two stars in AEW, how much everyone else sucks, what these two can bring. And we have everything from canes to a chorus line to a kickoff. And you want my thoughts? Let me put it to you like this. We found our true fan, Camilla dancing, and our true rapping his way to the ring. But I would say that the stuff overall ain't bad. Let me talk to you. Cena rapped in, Elias performs. But AEW, we saw another first. And with the segment, I thought it wasn't half bad. You want me to say it again? Let me say it again. Cena rapped in, Elias performed. And AEW, we saw another first. With the segment, I thought it wasn't half bad. Yeah, I thought this wasn't half bad. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, so anyway, this was by far the most bizarre segment as a guy who is turned off by musicals, literally thought he would never see in professional wrestling, and I loved it. But now I have to wonder, does this truly mean that MJF is going to join the inner circle? Will he be accepted? Because apparently Troy Giovanni, he will be sitting down in on that too. Parties on both behalves. We'll see if they get overall yes or no. I'm pretty sure Sammy is still reluctant, but with the fact that he's focused so much on Matt Hardy, it would not surprise me if the vote swings MJF's way. Because when these two are together, whether you're looking at them seriously or comical, it is gold entertainment on your television screen every time. And this is why, truly, in my opinion, I love AEW Dynamite as my favorite show on television, because truly anything can happen. Who would have thought for the first time ever you get a wrestling, the musical, and you like it and it worked? Now, I know people are going to shit the bed on this over the internet. You got all these people, all these reviewers, all these so-called media personalities, all these people paid, controversial podcasters, infamous names galore, and 2-bit, 1-bit, short-sighted, simple-minded, open-minded, fans of all types. This is going to be based on what you see, what you believe, what you already know from Chris Jericho. Because there's no doubt in my mind Chris Jericho led this entire segment. And MJF, he just smoothed along with it beautifully. All I got to say to this is bravo, bravo, bravo. And as some of my friends said, I need an encore, and I 100% agree. Okay, so now that we go in from away from there, we go into women's action as the role model, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She proves why she is the baddest bitch on the roster, as she took on one of my most hopeful, ambitious people yet to be signed by AEW, but I hope it happens, Kylan King. Her and Kylan King had a short little bout, definitely could have used more time, and in the end, Kylan King showed some strong offense here, but she did fall, of course, to the lock jump. Pink blood, by the way. Shout out to those that are raising awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I support all of those that fight in the cause and are also fighting against this. If you actually have it, my prayers go out to all of you. Anyway, As this match shortly concluded, Dr. Britt Baker looked very strong here, and she got the win. Anyway, as we continue on from there, we learn a bit more about Darby Allin and his mindset, heading closer to freaking AEW's Full Gear. And it looked like this man's just testing his will and body. So who better to test your will and body with in the stupidest ass ways possible, sensitive-wise, than the king of jackasses himself, Steve O. Yes, the Steve O has now made a cameo on AEW. And literally we find Darby Allin with the body bag drop off the top of a half pipe, literally rolling in a bag. And even Steve O's like, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? Beep, you fucking crazy. Yeah, you just realized that? He's relentless, right? He only feels pain on half his body. That's all I gotta say about that. Darby Allin, nothing's gonna stop this guy. I don't think nothing truly hurts this guy. And I really wonder, is there an off switch to this guy? And we'll see now how those wounds and this pain test helps him in whatever's to come next on AEW Dynamite or Dark. All I know is, Ricky Starks, you talk a big game, but I've never seen you do that. Do something like that, and then maybe, just maybe, you can out-wrestle Darby Allin. Because until you do, you're going to be stuck in the spot you want, no matter how much Taz endorses you. That's all I got to say about that. Which leads us into our main event. But not before we talk about what's to come next week on the pre-Halloween edition of AEW Dynamite. As it's just going to be straight up chaos in action and tricks and spooks galore, I'm sure. Abaddon makes her way back, oh boy, and she will be taking on Ty Conti. The funny thing is, the last time Abaddon was on Dynamite with somebody, you might remember her. She was named on a J. She was like the star, then became the Dark Star. People change when they're in the ring with one Abaddon. With Abaddon being number 3 on the rankings, really pushing her way up. About time they finally put her back on the show. What a more fitting week to return Abaddon than the week of freaking Halloween. And good luck with you in that horror encounter, Ty. I hope Anna's in your corner. This might be the moment where Ty joins the Dark Order, folks. Just saying. We also got, of course, the TNT Championship rematch. Orange Cassidy versus Cody, who by the way had Cody earlier. Very calm, very confident demeanor, it seems. Very stoic words as the coach was with him out of a limo, riding and arriving in style. And I wonder now, both men's mindset, well, Orange Cassidy's whatever. Cody's mindset heading into this rematch. It is championship advantage, it seems. But Lumberjacks can make the match go anyway. I don't see this match being thrown out. That'd be the worst mistake possible. And it is still a 20-minute time limit. Are we on the version of a draw? I don't think so. I hope not. But it is a Lumberjack match next week for the TNT Championship as Cody once again takes on Orange Cassidy. And we'll wait and see what happens from there. Will Mr. Brodie Lee return and make his statement known and try to regain that power for the Dark Order? We're going to have to wait and see. We also, again, as I said, have Ty Conti versus Abaddon, and we have the continuation of this AEW Championship tournament as Kenny Omega will take on Rey Fenix and Heyman and Page takes on Wardlow. And there's so much more to come too, along with that Inner Circle town meeting to see if MJF will or not be accepted into the Inner Circle on Le Champion's behalf. So much to come, but we're going to have to wait and see. But before all that, we of course have to talk about what is now as we try and determine who challenges FTR at Full Gear. 4-way tag team match main event. As we have my favorite team in this, the Butcher and the Blade with the Bunny. Yay, Allie. That made me so happy to see this trio back. My favorite trio now in AEW. There, I said it. We have the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny. They all come out in tandem. And literally, they come out, of course, to their music. My favorite themes of all time in AEW. And, of course, the Butcher comes out with that trot. Allie with a new bunny mask, it seems. Still as clever as ever. And, of course, the other teams follow that, including Dark Order 3 and 4, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, respectively. And also Private Party with the shots. And last but not least, as we return from commercial and FTR on commentary for this, seeing who will be their next challengers, the Young Bucks. And this is where I was hoping things would really take a different turn. And literally, I hope the Young Bucks wouldn't win. All 4 teams, they really showed out here as a really good competitive match. There were moments that I thought the Dark Order Lily had it, but the Young Bucks came in for the save. Young Bucks isolated both Butcher and Blade and Private Party with the Dark Order again the save as the match goes on. Butcher and Blade look very strong, and as it looked like that Private Party were going to get some momentum, really showing up to FTR. Allie comes into play at one point, literally blocking Torpe Suicide, like, you will not hit a woman. And all real gentlemen will never hit a woman. Let's be honest here. And literally, as this match continues down toward the line, it's down to 2 teams. The teams that really kicked off this tag team era in AEW last year in the tournament, as we had that upset, Private Party and Young Bucks, they revisit hostilities from 1 year ago. And literally, it comes down to them. And literally, I thought we were going to get a repeat of what happened last year as he did the roll-up. No, they outsmarted them this time, remembering what happened, and just on a clutch roll-up, they're going for the best muscle driver earlier. Young Bucks pulled out the win. Could not be happier for them, themselves, that is. And literally, it is official. People want it. People talked about it. People asked about it. People questioned for it. People wonder what is to come from this match. And now we got it. It will be FTR versus the Young Bucks at Full Gear for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Over a year in the making, it seems, will the Young Bucks finally reach that top echelon as tag team champions? We look at their subtle heel turn, it seems, even though they didn't really use any dirty heelish tactics here. It was just pure tag team wrestling and who was the best team. Anyway, as we about to go off the air, FTR comes down to the ring, and we once again have FTR and the Young Bucks face to face, champions and challengers. They both have a beer. Young Bucks knock their beers out. You don't mess with top guys' beverages. As the timekeeper comes in and whacks one of the Young Bucks from behind with a chair, and they literally set up Matt Jackson, the timekeeper, and FTR do, to, of course, do a spot many people know about FTR, and that is breaking the leg in a chair. And they did that, possibly, to Matt Jackson. And, of course, who was the timekeeper? But the man with the brains and the master plans, it seems all the time himself, Tully Blanchard. And now we go off the air looking at the Young Bucks in a much more vulnerable state rather than confident state, as one of them might be injured and not be able to compete at Full Gear. Yeah, right. But literally, we know they're going to compete at Full Gear, but they won't be 100%. And now we look to see what is next in this rivalry, that is FTR versus the Young Bucks, as now we have 4 matches set for AEW, well, not 4, 3 matches set for Full Gear, and a 4th one pending, depending on who Darby Allin will face for the TNT title. Will it be Cody? Will it be Orange Cassidy? Could it be John Silver? Could it be Mr. Brody Lee? Could it be somebody we don't expect? Only time will tell. But the bottom line is this. This was the beginning, the inauguration, the start of year 2 of AEW Dynamite. And I have to say, it is off to a rocking, wild, surprising, wonderfully unpredictable, keep me wanting more wild start. What a tremendous, amazing show tonight. Great championship showcase last week. And I can't wait to see what happens next week. And also, when the heck is this wedding feint going to happen? As far as other thoughts, I just have one other thought. More women's wrestling. Build your women's roster. Build me stories. Nyla Rose is great, but I need other people to step up. Tashida. Abaddon has potential. Ford took her to the limit earlier during the summer. Give me Allie. Eddie King's talking about this family's going to take over. Everyone's going to pay. Show me Allie can really pull forward. I want Allie towards the AEW Women's Championship because I know she can do it. And again, maybe that's just all in the cards because as Cindy told me, Eddie Kingston and Allie aren't necessarily on the best of friendships, I guess. Now, I wonder how far that goes back or if that still goes now. Because again, AEW, it seems to be an all positive, all merit environment. Everybody out there for themselves. FTR even slowly put over unrestricted. They are there to make tag team wrestling better. That's why they took this opportunity to be part of AEW and are proud to be the champions. They hold no ill will against their previous employer, and I respect that because in my opinion, no matter where you work in professional wrestling, you should do everything you can to not only make yourselves better, but reach a point that you feel so good about yourselves, you use what you learn and what you are to make other things better in professional wrestling. And FTR is doing that with tag team wrestling. Simple as that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I thank all of you for tuning in to this, once again, reignited edition of AEWSPARK. I would love to know your thoughts so far on what you think year 2 has brought you, what you want it to bring you, your thoughts that we are literally 3 weeks away now, I believe. It might be 2.5 weeks. I have to look at my calendar. From AEW Full Gear. What surprises await? Is the cleaner coming back? Is Moxley versus Omega bound to happen? Maybe by Revolution. Can the Young Bucks finally become tag team champions? Who will stop the path of Cage? And who knows what other surprises awaits? And what changes lie ahead? And further surprise debuts in the Dark Order. These are just a few questions on my mind. I'm sure on some of your minds too, as we look forward to what's next to come on AEW. Dark or Dynamite, I might add. Congrats, by the way, to Dark moving to TBS very soon. Friday nights at 8. Fascinating. I might have a new Friday night fix, but I digress. Thank you for tuning in. You want to know more about me? Know this. I'm just a simple man, and I'm not a ghost, but I am a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. Wait, I should probably give you the background, right? Okay, hold on. Let me do that again. 1, 2. Oh, it froze. Botch. Okay, I'm kidding. Wrestling! There it is. You know I have to do it, folks, because again, I love wrestling. It drives me forward. It's why I am here. It makes me happy. It's as simple as that. So again, look me up. Twitter, Instagram, PlayStation, YouTube. It's nfoster1916. Or look me up, of course, on my Twitch, nfoster191625. I don't know if I'm going to do anything horribly spectacular, but I do have this little rivalry with my friend Cindy for Bound for Glory. If you haven't checked that out, get ready for that episode into the Stratosphere. Follow the Bulletcast into the Stratosphere. If I lose Bound for Glory, I might play a horror game on Halloween night on my Twitch. Maybe Emily wants to play because I can't stand horror. Although Allie is trying some horror stuff in her thing too, and I enjoy Allie's Twitch channel, so maybe I'll partake in that. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, yeah. Follow NoDQ, follow WrestleJoy, follow Team All Elite, follow the Primetime Predictions, follow Meltdown, follow, of course, Your Wrestling House Big and Small. Support for wrestling, that's the heart of it. And again, as I always like to close, support wrestling outlets, both big and small. And let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, I thank you all so much for constantly tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell no next videos live on this channel. Hit the subscribe button. Help me keep growing this channel. Shout out to all 170 of you that's been with me now on this fun YouTuber creator's journey. It's not live anytime soon. New stuff to come with the sauce. I'll continue to work the Wrestling Rundown, and I'm sure to be working more with Cindy G on the Stratosphere podcast. I'm looking forward to more on that. And of course, you know me, constantly watching wrestling. There's content to come, including simple chats live, and of course, more content to come on NJPW, which of course is my #1. And we'll see what happens next week for Halloween. Stay tuned to NoDQ for stuff on Bound for Glory and Hell in a Cell. And yes, I'll be doing Simply Predicting in general on that very soon too. Until next time, take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. There's more of it now than ever. Find some promotion, some company, some facet, some friend or rival, challenge virtue, I dare you, that connects with you. And until the next video, as always, stay safe. We will get through this pandemic together. Wear a mask. Be concerned, be positive, be aware of those around you, treasure your families, treasure moments, because tomorrow's never guaranteed. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see you in November. So until then, happy Halloween.